flexibility. You could be making paintings, you could be making drawings, you could be making like abstract photographs. Even if you don't have access to a photo camera or your phone is having difficulties, you can also look up old photos that you've done and post those, submit those. And I'm glad to critique them because I find that I get more activity when we have people submitting work that I can review on the virtual critique side of things. So yeah, now we're back up on YouTube. I'm gonna fade to my shot. What up, 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 what up? Welcome to the Real Marcoux. Yo, we're gonna start it off right because yo, that was a little bit of a train wreck beginning. So yo, let's get into it. Let's get some beats going, right? Let's see if this is gonna work out for us. Oscar's here. Hey, what's going on? Very loud. Very loud over there. Very loud on the YouTube. They're probably going to start watching and be like, the sound is terrible, right? That's one of the most important things about filmmaking is sound. In fact, we had some really good work coming through the pipeline from the real Matthew, and he put a great beat up on his real distant definition. It was something that really kept me engaged with the piece. So, music has to be, and sound quality needs to be optimum. Otherwise, people are going to not watch. Kind of like this stream. They're going to be like, the sound is too blaring, right? So if the visual is good and the sound is terrible, you might just walk out of the theater. But if the sound is good and the visual is terrible, you might just watch because, sound has like a physical effect on your body. So just something to think about, you can involve sound if you feel like it. You don't have to either. I tend to think on IG, I tend to watch things without the sound on them. So sometimes it's good to, oh, we got some rapper up on this beat over here. Yeah, sometimes that's fine that it's good to show people that, oh my gosh, I have all kinds of things going on over here. Sometimes I find it's good to say, make sure you turn the sound on when you watch this experience. That way you get a little bit of the extra vibe on there. What up, Purple Step? How is it going, man? Nice streams out there. I really appreciate the work. By the way, now that you've just joined, I just updated the assignments, so you have a photography option with the real distant countdown, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take 5 pictures representing that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They can be in one post. Just make sure you put the hashtag up in there and tag me at the Real Marcoux. That way I can see it and I'll give you a virtual crit as soon as I can. I want to have some more activity as far as virtual crits are concerned, so I want to make it accessible. Also, the real distant definition, you could take a picture of one thing that you find defines a word of your choice. Remember, the concentration is about you pushing yourself artistically on a skill that you want to develop. Here, I'll give you guys some waves. Shout out to the real Lopez out there rocking that computer science stuff. Gotcha. I love it, man. I'm at a little bit of a delay, but I'll catch up right away on the thread as I can. Looking forward to getting some more 9th graders involved here. I know the 9th grade film majors have just started up with quarter 4, but I want to see more engagement out of you guys. And I know, life is important. Deal with life first, but just check in. A little comment. If I see you view on an IG, I notice that you're here. So I consider that contact. And Purple Step, you got extra credit for being on the feed today. So anybody that's involved virtually collaborating, you get extra credit. So keep involved. And I always look forward to future collaborations. I'm looking forward to seeing how we can break this thing, because when I break things, I learn things, and I learn things that I can pass on to you. So, experiment. It's always fun. Anyways, I did have some stuff up on the YouTube. I did want to get into really quickly Matthew's piece. So Matthew made a definition last night, and he calls his definition a landscape. So he did kind of like this panning truck right? He's panning, but he's also moving his body, so it's like a panning truck. And he calls it the landscape, and he just kind of like looks out on his porch, and he's just like filming his neighborhood. You might notice if you look at his piece at the real shout out to the real Matthew, you could see he did a really nice job color grading it, right? It has this almost like a sunset feel to it. The colors are very saturated. So it's a very nice technique. And his focus, I believe, is going to be trying to kind of develop his own kind of show. So it's interesting to see us in his location, right? Think about your distant zone. Right, I have a zone right here that I've established for quite a while. It's always changing. I have this keyboards creating leading lines into my composition. I have foreground elements like real Oscar. Hey, I'm not real Oscar, I'm just Oscar. Well, that, whatever. I'm going to call you whatever I feel like, Oscar. Hey, what are you talking about? Get out of here. Anyways, and then so I have foreground elements, I'm in the middle ground, and then I have background elements over here. Again, I stay on that rule of thirds line, so I break up the frame into thirds, right? My belly button on that bottom third, and my eyes on that top third. And I like to have I don't like center compositions so much. They can work, but I tend to like to have kind of a neat composition that feels like it's some semblance of composition, right? So I like to keep myself on the right third. That's just me. You can decide what you want. You're the artist, but come up with a zone so that way you can do video conferences that aren't boring, or just I tend to see students, they have their camera faced at the ceiling. And that's kind of cool. I mean, maybe you can create a puppet show with yourself rising up into that ceiling just to show us that you're there every now and then. But I totally understand. And then some Zoom calls, I've noticed they have the virtual backgrounds and stuff like that, which can break up sometimes, right? If you're using the Zoom background element, I find it's probably better to have a one-toned background, kind of like a green screen. Oh, there's a lot of stuff happening in the background. Apologies. I do have a lot of distance learning going on here with my two daughters. But anyways, I find that having a flatter background or an even tonality would probably make your zoom effect look a little better. So maybe pay attention to that when you're working with it. If you have a background like this, where I've added some different shading to my lighting, so that way I create kind of this neat gradient happening back here, as opposed to what it used to be, which was a flat background, right? I like that for me because I'm not changing my background. But this wouldn't work very well for a green screen or something like that, because the computer algorithm is going to be trying to make this the background, but it has all these tones to figure out. And these tones might be similar to the tones, the shades on my face. So that's where you get kind of some of the digital feedback and stuff like that kind of comes in through the edging. So if you are doing Zoom calls and you're like, why is the background so broken up? Try working with a more even background. Maybe throw a light on a wall, or don't have a background that has windows and blown out windows and dark backlit shadows. That's really going to mess that effect up if you're trying to go for a cleaner backdrop on your Zoom calls. But anyways, that's just a little tidbit of advice. Yeah, shout out to the real Matthew. Some really excellent work. Shout out to you, Purple Step. You're doing fantastic things. Congratulations on your Twitch accolades. I'm really excited about the work that you're creating over there. And the gaming format is really fascinating to me. In fact, this is kind of like a little bit of a mockumentary of that kind of format, where you have kind of this filmmaker or gamer or something like that telling you how to do things as they're breaking them, right? Or flying the plane as they sink it, right? Yo, shout out, man. You are excellent. I'm inspired by your work. I did want to try a couple things. I have this, I noticed some IG cats are out there throwing little images on. So maybe I'll throw this on real quick. Let's see what that does. Oh, yo, it's Karst. What up, Karst? What up, Marcoux? Yeah, yesterday I went over extensively about Karst because my old college roommate had found him, and he literally looks exactly like me. Oh my gosh. I mean, really, doesn't he look like me? He even has my crooked nose. I started to analyze his teeth a bit, because you know what? He has my teeth too. He has the crooked teeth. And he's a shopkeeper. I know, right? Purple Step? I mean, what the heck? It's a spitting image, man. So I feel like they found like a Facebook picture of me like back in 2016 and posted it. I looked up, there was Guerrilla Games, and I noticed that at Guerrilla Games, they had a lot of involvement at PAX, Penny Arcade Expo, which they submit a lot of like the new video games and stuff like that. And I worked there doing camera work for PAX for about 8 years. So I wonder if they had seen me standing next to a camera for a long period of time and was like, that ugly camera dude would make an excellent shopkeeper in our game, Horizon Zero Dawn. So yeah, I thought that that was fascinating. This is kind of fun. We're playing around. Oh, I like this guy, he's kind of interesting. He's got like this, this is way back in the day when, film was beginning and stuff, and they were building New York City. So it was a perfect opportunity for new cinematographers to practice with the new technology. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. But yeah, Karst, he's a spitting image of me. And as far as the poll was concerned, it was interesting because I definitely had about like 100% of people saying yes, this Karst is related to Marcoux. There's no question. I mean, and then you look at those blue eyes, I think I had one person that said no, but I'm like, yo, really? You know, look at that tooth. Even as my jagged tooth, like my wisdom teeth pushed my teeth around, and he literally even has my tooth. So I feel like they just thought, whatever, we'll steal this guy. That's cool. Whatever. Work with it. But yeah, there was some other work. Looking at myself in the camera. Oh my God, Karst, whatever, the real Karst. Yo, this is kind of fun. Astro Boy, yo, Astro Boy's up on Roku. That's a pretty cool show. That's like the innovation of anime as we know it. I think that that's a pretty cool thing. Been watching a few of those. He's flying around saving babies, saving them babies. Been working on this thing. Been working on there's a contest on Adobe. Unfortunately, I think it's 18 and up, but they're trying to do a digital rave, and they're offering like free tickets to the rave out in Las Vegas and like $900 or something like that. So I figured, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll test some stuff out and see if maybe I can win. Who knows? I don't even care. I'm just having fun in this boredom zone, But I've been taking these images and kind of like playing around, putting them on reverse and doing these kind of like kaleidoscopic things. Ooh, this is fun. I kind of like this. So they gave us some color palettes too. They were like, "Oh yeah, work in these color palettes." So color palette is like when you're really choosing the certain colors that complement each other or contrast one another. I play around a lot on IG layout lately because, I'm trying to show you guys that you don't necessarily need a computer. You can actually like break, you know, the auto functions of your phone to create interesting images. So that all came from, well, there's a Cox Communication conversation I had when they knocked out my Wi-Fi. That was funny. Um, but yeah, I just took that image and then I broke it up. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. Oh, this is kind of cool. Yeah, my daughter made an Earth for Earth Day. Thought that was pretty neat. And also on my thing, you could check out on my thing on my IG. I put in the highlights a highlight of the storyboard, which I went over, and I think episode 7 or 6. But I went over a storyboard. If you find like you're trying to build towards a larger project, you can draw storyboards. And also, I think it's episode 6. I go through my sketchbook. So if you're looking for ideas, or if you're just wondering, what's going on, feel free to engage that. I like this, the Videoscope television. That was over at the RISD Museum. Created by JVC back in the 70s. So they were thinking about 360 a long time ago. Yeah, Karst, how did this happen? That's up on the YouTube. So you could check that out if you feel. Yeah, a little bit of a train wreck morning show. I'm trying to get things going. I just want to encourage you guys, and I really miss you guys incredibly. I wish we could be in this thing together. But, oh man, I have this thing in my corner now. I don't know how to get rid of it, but we'll just leave it there. Why not? Um, but yeah, so I miss you guys dearly. There's so many good things that we're creating over at the studio. We all were working very hard to make things happen, and we have a new school to come home to and all that stuff. But I'm pretty excited about the work that I've been seeing. Oh, there we go. We got rid of it. I had to just move my camera a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me in the feed. But been playing around a little bit, been trying to work on this format, and I've been doing a lot of info dumps, so I'm trying to keep it a little bit light today. One thing I found was interesting. Sometimes if you're trying to break your iPhone or something like that, taking like bottles or glasses or something like that and throwing them in front of your lens and trying to experiment like that can be quite fun. So I was kind of experimenting with this a little bit. It's kind of like this weird cube crystal can kind of create these interesting looks and stuff like that. But bottles can be interesting. You can get like kind of green tonality, or you could take like interesting gels, or flashlights and experiment like that, So, whoa, that is like the award from the heavens. Of course I am. I'm the award from the heavens, Oscar. Yo. Yeah, that beat was all right, but let's break it up with another beat. Why not? I'll throw in, Choir Light was nice. I liked Choir Light. That's a good beat. This is the Real Reed, my buddy. See what you guys think of this one. What? Be making some beats on GarageBand real nicely. This stuff was made on Cubase and a Triton keyboard, but I know there's some pretty neat digital keyboards that you can mess with as well to create different sounds. Sometimes I like to take choir music and like throw it in slow motion or play it back in reverse, and then you can create like kind of these original formats. Be careful of playing copyrighted music because that will flag you, that will take you down, particularly very popular acts like Post Malone or Michael Jackson for that matter. That stuff is very copyright sensitive. So right now there's not many fingers on the hand at YouTube, so they'll just take you down right away, particularly on the IG. So that's why I've been trying to play some more original beats for my buddy there, James Reed, so I can give you guys some something to listen to every now and then. But I like the mood of this. I think it's really ambient. Yeah, we're 23 minutes in, folks. A little bit of a melodic kind of mundane show today. I kind of started off with the train wreck spirit, breaking my YouTube right away. Put it at a little bit too high of a bit rate, but I was experimenting. I was trying to get some more detail in the work that I was sharing, but got to play with internet speeds. Make sure that you have a hard line connection to your stream so that way the stuff doesn't drop out. I climbed through my basement, set it all up so that way I had an Ethernet cable directly to my computer to make sure that it played through smoothly and other Wi-Fi connects weren't dropping me out. Oh, they're copyright friendly on Twitch. They just don't upload clips with music after the stream is done. Yeah, that could be an issue, like if you're trying to archive your work or trying to have like people come back to your work. So you just got to be tricky about it. I notice a lot of DJs will be out there like flipping a lot of beats, and they don't flip them fast enough. So they immediately get dropped, and then their stuff gets flagged, and then, they have to defend themselves out of it. And being there, no people over at YouTube, at least not a lot of them, at this moment with the COVID scenario, computers are just like knocking people down. So my advice is always mix it up, create your own original stuff. Maybe take a beat that you like and throw it in super slow motion. I don't know, there's no real right answer to it, I like to play instrumental beats because people's words, they tend to oftentimes be part of those algorithms. They're trying to copy and paste and look at what you're playing in real time. So that's cool about Twitch. Well, I like the slow-mo section. Mm. That's the end of that beat. Yo, pretty nice right there. Pretty nice indeed. Love my boy's work. Anyways, yeah, getting into it a little bit. See, we've been getting into it all morning. You know, it's crazy. I get started with these things sometimes and it's like, things are breaking. And then I'm a little bit discombobulated, which is definitely the case this morning. Had some really great work coming from the real Jonathan F. You know, his countdown was really fantastic. He had this 5 count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, that countdown, you know. Again, if you need to do the photography option, go with it. You know, I just like to see your work because, you know, what keeps these streams more engaged. I've been looking at the retention of this stuff, and I've done, this is episode 10, right? Episode 10 of season 2. Technically, I've done about 23 episodes. Ugh. And I've never done streaming like this before. So, you know, learning a lot of stuff by looking at the analytics and looking at the retention. I find that I get more retention when I'm rapping, which is crazy because I stink at rapping. But I get a lot more retention also when I'm showing student work, right? I could tell that my feed is a little bit bogged down, probably because I'm moving around a lot. I think the speed is a little slow. But anyways, I get more retention when there's music involved. When I'm looking at student work, it gets spiking when I see people's work and I'm reviewing it. I find that I have a little bit of value to give that way because I've been doing it for, geez, my whole life, you know. Um, Looking at photography, looking at painting, drawing, and all that stuff, and thinking about composition. So, compositional elements like rule of thirds, symmetry, you know, rule of odds, you know, when you have like stuff that looks like it's almost perfect, but then there's one thing that's off, you know, that's rule of odds. Or if you're thinking about proxemics, how close your subject is to the camera, right? Playing with depth of field as well. So like if I'm really focused on myself, everything else falls off into a softness, right? Colorometry or color metrics or color science, right? Working with complementary colors, you could tell that this light is a bit orange, right? And it's complementing the blue that's going on in my clothing, right? So you could be playing with color, you could be playing with depth of field, you could be playing with camera movement, proxemics, different shot types, whatever you feel. If you check out yesterday's episode, you notice I streamed a stream. I was doing some yoga and I was watching him and it was pretty cool. And I considered that a virtual toss, like I was tossing from one stream to my stream, right? So I'm interested in that and like kind of creating these exquisite corpses, right? Where we're streaming streams. I've also been interested in maybe virtual late night raves or puppet shows or stuff like that where we're streaming other people's streams and stuff like that. So you get more engagement. You know, we're trying to like break the system. Another reason why I've created the reel, you know, in that every user has a reel account, is it's a search engine thing. So it's easy for me to search through and see my students, but also it's not attacking, but it's kind of like playing around with, you know, it's playing around with the search engines themselves, the internet itself, the fact that there's all this the real stuff is taking up search bars and stuff like that. So in a way, it's creating this like digital sculpture. It's actually this virtual sculpture that's like in a way kind of bogging down the internet a little bit. I mean, it's small now, but like if the real built up and different people are streaming, different people are making artwork and stuff like that, well, the real becomes a whole catalog that like bogs down a search engine. So, I find that that's interesting as well, creating kind of digital sculptures, artificial, virtual graffiti, so to speak. But yeah, about 30 minutes in, folks. If you have any requests, feel free to ask me now. I'm probably going to cut the show in a little bit, but hey, stop messing with me. Hey, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm just like looking for stuff to do right now. But yeah, I appreciate you, Purple Step. This is awesome to have you up on here. If you have any suggestions, let me know for sure. Be glad to take reviews or any particular critiques of the show, anything you'd like to see. You can shoot me a message or a DM. I'm glad to entertain, and I'm glad to take your feedback. And I also consider that extra credit towards any work as well. So I will be updating grade books most likely over the weekend because we are at that checkpoint. I have updated Skyward to show you kind of like what assignments we have underway, but the deadlines are extended. I'm very loose about deadlines. And again, we have that photography option. Yeah, for sure. Definitely was happy to show up on the stream. Yo, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. And I'll definitely be joining your streams and seeing what's going on over there every now and then. I think the next step I need to do is I need to play that game. I need to play that Horizon Zero Dawn and find Karst and free my digital brethren from his digital prison. We're going to get you, Karst. We're going to get you back, man. I'm going to save you somehow. We'll see. He's stuck in that program access control, right? When you're a program, you can't escape what the programmer created for you. So, there has to be a way to break his code and free him somehow. Free myself. Oh, bejeez. Dutch. Back to the program. Yo! But yeah, gonna cut it a little early today. Tune in again tomorrow, 11 o'clock. I do it every day. If you have suggestions for other time periods, stuff like that, I keep talking about trying to do a late night show. It's a little difficult with my kids because then I have to be really quiet and stuff like that. But I do want to plan for like some big events. I do want to plan for some virtual film festivals with your work. So know that you guys are building towards a bigger process with this concentration. If you do make video pieces or photography for that matter, this is all building towards a bigger concentration portfolio, your virtual concentration portfolio, which hopefully will be useful for you to get jobs. So if you're thinking about like, what am I doing with this or whatever like that, that's what we're building towards. And specifically Purple Step, like I know your work is mostly streaming and stuff like that. Well, I know you're keeping good track of it, and your Purple Step page is totally a great portfolio, but it's nice also to have like a consolidated one. So that way, if you're trying to get a job at, say, YouTube or Japan for all that matters or whatever like that, you could not just be like, oh yeah, go to my YouTube page. Well, they're gonna be like, okay, there's all these 2-hour-long videos. I'm not gonna watch that. But if you sent them like a minute of like the best moments you've ever had in your streams, and they were like, oh my god, this dude's done it like 2,000 times, and this reel that he cut together is like the perfect promo. You're gonna get a job regardless. But you know what, you got to get your foot in the door. And what is your foot compared to your body? Your body's this big thing. Your foot's just a little bit of your body, right? So if you like knock the door down with your 1-minute reel, then you could show them the bigger stuff, and then they're like, whoa, we need to move him up to like Vice's CEO. You got it in you. I know you can do it. But yo, break it out. Seizure vision. Verto vision. Yo, happy to have you. Trainwreck Morning Show on the Real Marcoux. Shout out to 185 Project. Shout out to Lens the Cameraman. Shout out to Purple Steps. Shout out to the Real Matthew. Shout out Real Luciana and all the crew that were there yesterday. Shout out the Real You Said. I see you doing good things. Shout out to you all. And I hope you have a nice day. Get outside. It's beautiful out. Get that air. You know, enjoy yourselves. This stream's a little wonky today. That's all right. We're doing it again tomorrow. I'm persistent. And I look forward to doing more. So, let's collaborate. Peace. Keep it real. On the streaming. Yeah. Something like that. Can't hit the end now button. There it is. Share the story.